Now, this is the thing that we so want you to understand. As you're moving through life experience, exposed to all kinds of circumstances and events and other people and their ideas and beliefs and desires, you can't help but come to a steady stream of conclusions about what, from your perspective, would be better. And as those conclusions emanate from you, and the source within you makes them a vibrational reality by holding to the vibrational frequency of them, you can then, from the moment of the birth of the new desire, you can feel what your vibrational relationship is to that improvement. That's what your emotions give you. Your emotions give you moment by moment feedback. Your emotions let you know whether you're a match to what you want or whether you're a match to what you don't want. And what you begin to understand as you listen to us talking about these universal laws is that the powerful law of attraction, which is a law that responds to the vibrational basis of all that is, this law of attraction is the law that makes it possible that when you set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m., you hear what's being broadcast from the station that is broadcasting 6:30 a.m. The frequency of the transmitter and the receiver have to match up. And everything in this universe, every particle, every piece of dirt, every organism, every part of you, everything that exists in all that you see and in that which you do not see is a vibrational basis that is transmitting and receiving constantly. And those transmitting and receiving signals are being organized by this powerful law of attraction, which says in simple terms, that which is likened to itself is drawn. So if you set your frequency on, I don't have enough money, and you stay there long enough that you set your frequency on, I don't have enough money and I am really irritated about it, I don't have enough money and I am frightened about it, as you set your frequency there, even though you may be going through all of the motions that might bring money to others, you hold the money that you're asking for away from you because, and you often don't even realize you're doing it, you have tuned yourself to the frequency of not enough. And when you tune yourself to the frequency of not enough money, or when you tune yourself to the frequency of a physical condition that you do not want, when you tune yourself by practice to a vibrational frequency, law of attraction cannot buck your current. You cannot receive around the signal that you're offering. The signal that you're offering equals your point of attraction. Now, there's some very good news that most humans are not very keenly aware of or focused upon or tuned into. And that is that in every moment that you are experiencing life, you are causing an expansion, and the larger part of you is expanding. In other words, you cannot look for a moment at something unwanted without an equivalent desire emanating from you in a vibrational pattern. And as it emanates from you, the larger part of you, who is vibration, complete vibration, receives the information of request and gives undivided attention then to the prosperity that you are asking for or to the improved bodily conditions that you ask for. Let's take it to a place that you can understand even a little more clearly. This is true of every consciousness. And your body is made up of trillions of cells who are made up of consciousness. So maybe you ingest something, maybe you're exposed to something, maybe it's a bacteria, maybe it's a fungus, maybe it's what you would call a germ, maybe it's what you would call a disease, maybe it's what you would call a substance that your body is not good at acclimating to, maybe you ate something disagreeable, couldn't tell by reading the label because none of that makes sense anymore. You ingested something that your body was not accustomed to and didn't really want, and so some cells in your body immediately got out of whack. You know what it's like to take a negative hit? So some cells in your body got a little out of whack, but in the moment of their perception of imbalance, they ask for balance in that moment. Trillions of consciousness within your body asking for improvement in the moment of awareness that something got a little off. And in the moment that this happened, whether it's a one-celled organism or many cells in communication in your body, when that cellular request happened, in other words, your cells took the bounce, know what they don't want, know what they do want. In the moment that that request is set forth, The non-physical part of you, the energy that creates worlds, begins flowing in response to that request, and an immediate balance occurs. Immediate, instant manifestation. This is happening in your body all day long, every day. You don't even know how well this factory, this vibrationally based consciousness factory called your physical cellular body, is coming into balance all day, all day, all day, all day, all day, all day. But then let's say you got something you're mad about or worried about or pushing about. So you've been in this sort of problematic mode for a while where you're really poking around at the problem, even though solutions are framing up for you and happening. And as you, as the captain of this cellular ship, are focused in this negative way where the predominant emotion within you is one of worry or anger, you cause a vibrational resistance in the communication of this vibrational body that is yours. And even though your cells know exactly what they want and need and are asking from a place that they can be answered exactly, you're in the way. And we call that resistance. We call it resistance, and you know when you're doing it because negative emotion is present. Negative emotion is present at first. If you keep it up, the negative emotion gets stronger. If you keep it up, you begin to feel physical sensations. And if you keep it up longer, then your physical body begins to be labeled in medical terms with all kinds of diagnoses that are nothing more than indications of resistance. And resistance is only a problem to you because it prevents communication between who you or part of you, we're talking about the cellular part of you, has become. For example, when you see someone who is annoying and you proclaim to yourself or out loud that this is an annoying person, that discord that you feel, that you would call irritation or frustration or even anger, is your indicator that your conclusion, your opinion, your attitude about the present subject does not match the attitude or the opinion of the source within you. Because source within you loves that irritating person, even though you are finding that irritating person irritating. When you love, that feeling of love is that feeling of alignment. A feeling of hatred is a feeling of misalignment. Anger, misaligned. Whether you are guilty or blameful, misaligned, because the source within you will not find fault with you or anyone else. And when you do, when you proclaim someone unworthy or inappropriate or just plain wrong, when you take the time to ferret someone out and point at it and call it wrong, in that judging, I don't want you, I want to push you away and what you're doing away attitude, you are, and you're free to do it, you are activating a vibration that the source within you never activates. And how do you know that the source within you is not now activating a similar vibration? You feel the discord. It's what negative emotion is. When you don't have enough money, you ask for more, whether you use words or not. You ask vibrationally. And when that rocket of desire, that other side of the vibrational wave, when that bounce occurs, the source within you holds steady forevermore your new conclusion about the prosperity that you seek. But when you look back at the circumstance that caused you to ask for more money, and you defend the needing or the wanting of more money by pointing out how hard it is without it, or how unjust it is without it, or how not fair, how not right, how annoying, how unpleasant, how many others are experiencing it, maybe in the same way. As you defend or rationalize or justify your improvement request, you hold yourself out of vibrational alignment with the improvement that you have requested. And you hold yourself instead in vibrational alignment with the problem that caused the solution. When you see someone and you appreciate them, that feeling of appreciation that wells up in you is your indicator that your vibrational attitude, your vibrational opinion matches that of the source within you. When you love someone, there's no disparity between the vibrational aspects of you and you. You are aligned. You are allowing the fullness of who you are. So many of you say, Esther says it daily, Abraham, I don't get why that doesn't irritate you. That irritates me. Why would someone behave that way? And we say to Esther, a better question than why are they behaving that way is, how does my awareness of their behavior feel? Or a better thing to say would be, why am I using that behavior as my current reason to cause vibrational disparity between who I really am and myself in this moment? Isn't that too big of a price to pay? And we say, we really think it is. But then often you say, well, if I'm not here to form an opinion, if I'm not here to make a judgment, if I'm not here to come to a conclusion of what I prefer, then what do you mean that I'm sorting through contrast and using the contrast to help me to identify what I want? And we say, well, that part's exactly right. But you did not intend to come forth, sift through the contrast, pick out the parts you don't want or that you don't like, and then make a career out of pointing out what's wrong with it. You don't go to a buffet and spend your whole time standing in line telling the nice people behind the counter, I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that. What were they thinking? Who would put that there? Why would they put that there? I don't even want to know what that is. That's not the way you choose from your buffet. You select from among it what you want. And that's what you intended to do when you came into this physical time-space reality. You expected to have exposure to life that would help you to identify improvement. And you knew that when you, out here on the leading edge, ferret out an improvement, you knew that the larger part of you, that would be us, that would be source, that would be your inner being, that would be that non-physical part of you. You knew that that non-physical part of you would then hold steady to the improved version that you have carved out of life. And that's exactly what happens. We will agree that if you're tentatively in your vortex, that almost anything can snap you out of it. But if you got in and you got in on purpose and you milked it and you proclaimed that you were there and you acknowledged how it is you got there and why it is you were able to stay there, you won't easily be pulled out of it. And when you are pulled out of it, you'll know how to get right back in. So if you spend more time in the vortex, it is very unusual when you get pulled out. If you spend more time out of the vortex, it's very unusual when you're able to get in. So it's just a matter of how much time. And there are a lot of people who claim vortex-dom more than they really should. Because it's not about the smile on your face, and it's not about even the words that you're speaking. It's about the song in your heart. It's about the glee in your being. It's about the vitality that you feel. It's about the enthusiasm for life, you see. And if once you tune yourself to the frequency of the vortex and get hooked on it, we want you to get hooked on your vortex, hooked on it. We want you to be addicted to the vortex, addicted to it to the degree that it's just so off when you're not in. You see the world as it exists, where you go to work and you watch people driving in their cars and they don't look all that happy about their cars, and they're listening to stuff, but they don't look that interested in what they're listening, and they go to work and they're not that much interested in work, and they can't wait to go home, but they're not much interested in going home. And then somebody says, let's go to a ball game, and they have a moment of glee. Woo! Drunk, and their team won. But in comparison with how much was going on in their life, it was just a little bit of time in the vortex, and most of the time not even trying to be in the vortex. You get what we're talking about? So when someone says, I struggle to get in and I have a hard time staying in, and it's only because you have not practiced it enough that the in the vortex vibration dominates. But when it does, there will be a tipping point on the fulcrum of your life where things that you've been waiting for what